This walkthrough will demonstrate a method for using Sales Manager to keep track of time spent on household chores, such as grass cutting, gardening, and raking leaves. Navigate to Support Tools. Open Personal Items form. We have a couple items here that pertain to certain household chores. One for cutting the grass, taking care of leaves, and gardening. Go back to Contacts. Let's suppose that John Doe wants to keep track of those activities. We'll start a new activity. Tab over, and we'll call this a personal item. And let's suppose that, it's springtime and John had to do some gardening. We can enter these details here, and we'll tab out. And let's suppose we want to make a quick note. We'll say grasses and shrubs. Tab over. Let's suppose that he spent 7 man-hours one day doing all that. And at some time later in the spring, he had to cut the grass. So we'll do personal. By the way, ignore the date on that pulling with the dates right now. And this will be cutting the grass. Don't really need to say anything. And I can say tractor cut, and I bagged the clippings. And took me an hour and a half to do that. And in the fall, let's suppose that we get into raking the leaves. So we'll do a new activity. Personal. This will be leaves, and I'll use my sweeper, which is pulled behind my tractor, and I probably spent 2 hours doing that. So, at the end of the year, John can filter his log activities for entries that have yard work in them and get a quick readout on how much man-hours he spent doing those outside chores. So we'll click in the Activity category field, go to User Actions, Filter. Text filter DAR contains, and I'll enter yard work. Enter key. Those are the entries that we have for yard work, and we can see that in the totals row. He spent 10.5 man-hours doing this. Now, of course, if he kept track of everything he did throughout the year, this would be a much bigger number. We'll unfilter. And for good practice, we'll go to User Actions, Advanced, Clear All Filters. This is another way you could use Sales Manager to help you keep track of personal stuff. Of course, back in Support Tools, Personal Items. You could add any items in this list that are appropriate for your purposes.